Alright, just be chubby bastards sitting here gonna BS.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Colin, this is Mason.
Right?
So, Mason's got a YouTube page he's actually trying to do something with me. I could care less.
Well, my channel is called Wapsie Valley River Rat. So,
Why'd you choose Wapsie Valley River Rat?
well,
Out of all names, why?
because I live right next to the Wapsie River, the Little Wapsie River. And in high school, our rivals, who was Denver Cyclones, called us the Wapsie River Rats. Instead of the Wapsie River
And
Warriors.
Wapsie spanked Denver last night.
Yep.
So, a
So,
win-win.
yep, Wapsie beat Denver in football.
35-12, I think, was the
Yep.
score. So anyways, this isn't really going to be a podcast per se. Most of the time it'll be us two, me and Mason. A few other times it'll be Jordan, who has Retopia Outdoors, and he is actually partnered with Scree Outdoor Clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So good things are going for him. Good things are going for this guy. Me, I see a lot of things on YouTube, a lot of good, a lot of bad, and I see that everybody's saying that they're wanting to be for the average Joe, bow hunter or hunter in general. Well, a lot of them don't really. I mean, they try to go into, trying to relate to guys like us, but they don't. They don't hit the home run on it per se. So we're gonna clear a few things up, show what we do, why we do what we do, why I do what I do when it comes to bow hunting and stuff. He's gonna, why he does what he does and why he's, doing what he does on his channel. So, why don't you explain your channel just a little more before we really rip into other things?
So my channel is mainly fishing and making your own baits. As you can tell here, I got a bunch of do-it molds baits. I got CNC molds. I got lead sinker jig molds. And so it's mainly fishing on that end. But this year that's a sprue from a soft bait. That's not even a jig or anything like that.
Yeah.
Those craws right there.
Yeah.
I'm underneath my safety glasses.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, here's one.
It's a little twister tail.
A little twister tail.
And but this year for hunting season, I have given up bow hunting just because of a medical reason that I have with my eyesight.
Go into that a little bit.
So what I have is called Chiricordis or Chiriconacus, or I can't pronounce it. It's some goofy Latin name. And what it is the thinning and steepening of my corneas, and I have to wear a special type of contact lens. And also my right eye is nearsighted and my left eye is farsighted. So I'm goofy on both ends. But what is happening is when I look through the peep and I look through the sight and it's getting dark, or even on just a regular cloudy day, the target that I'm trying to line up on gets very, very blurry. But if I use like a rifle scope or a shotgun scope or even a red dot, I don't really have that problem. I think it's just because of the clarification of the scope. But since in Iowa we can't use...
No, that's not, I haven't read the rules 100% on it, but I think you can use some clarification devices while hunting.
You just
Don't
can't
quote
use
me-
magnification.
Don't quote me on it. I'm not sure. We'll come back to that another time. Definitely, we're checking into things like that because how long have we been hunting together?
I don't know, since 2007, 2008.
I'd say, yeah, right around that time frame.
Yeah,
So we've got years under our belt.
yeah, 2007, 2008, and so, but but what I'm going to try and do is speak more with my eye doctor, and I have to go see a specialist down in Iowa City, and see if he can't sign off on handicap type deal or something to where I'm able to use a crossbow, because I can use a scope on a crossbow and I wouldn't have that problem with blurriness or just the target disappearing altogether. So,
But if we're able to get this figured out with talking to actual DNR officers when we do run into them here in Iowa, that's a whole nother topic in itself. But when we do, we'll end up actually getting the clarification from them. You know, hey, can we put a clarifier in a peep sight and or put a clarification lens on some of the sites that are now available to be able to help somebody out like that maybe doesn't want to use a crossbow and get, you know, per se kicked in the nuts nowadays for, oh, you're a crossbow owner. Well,
it's just as hard.
It is. A crossbow is louder. Yes, it shoots faster. Yes, you might be able to shoot a little bit further, but in all honesty, in my eyes, you're not gaining a whole lot, especially if you do your setups right when you're using a regular bow. You're really not gaining anything when you're using a crossbow. You're really not,
no.
in my honest opinion. And
the only thing that you lose is movement. You don't draw back on a crossbow, really.
But you get caught off guard. You've got more movement, bringing the bow up, getting it set on your shooting sticks or whatever, trying to hold still, find it in a scope.
Unless you use a bog pot. But
in my honest opinion, sometimes using a crossbow out of a deer stand could be much harder. Because you are technically not at the ready as where you are with a regular bow, going from like this and drawing back to where, oh shit, deer, reaching over, up, move, get situated, grab your shooting sticks, get situated, bring it up, and now trying to find it. Just saying, it can be more difficult when you're the way that we mainly hunt, and I know there's a lot of people out there that do it, but it could be a disadvantage to you as well.
Yeah. So pretty much that's what I'm going to be looking at doing, is going to see if I can talk to the doctor, use a crossbow. That way I'm not having to spend, how much are those sights now for with a clarifier?
I mean, most clarifier sets that I'm seeing are another $100-$150 on top of the sight. So I mean, you could get by for around $300, but otherwise you're looking at more of that $400 or $500, and well, you start hitting that price range, you're right there with a fully set up, ready to shoot crossbow with bolts and everything else. I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into. I'm gonna get into everything too when it comes to made in America stuff, made in China crap. I mean, if anybody knows, you know, you can give me crap this year. I'm actually going to be shooting broadheads I didn't think I would ever shoot. But I bought them off of Amazon. I like the design, and one of the people I get a lot of my information from when I have an issue, you know, if I want to know something about a broadhead, is Lusk Archery, the guy that lives down by Des Moines, and he does a lot of broadhead testing, and he uses a crossbow, he uses a vertical bow, and he walks you step by step on what he does and what his testing is, his scoring system is on everything. And I take a lot of that to heart. But when it comes to the durability tests People shooting into bricks and everything else. I mean, what more do you expect? I mean, when you're shooting a mechanical broadhead like what I do, would I like to see one hold up? Yeah, sure. You know, I'd like to see one hold up against that test. Just more of a, hey, they did it sort of thing. But I mean, when it comes down to it, I could care less if the broadhead destroys into a million pieces being shot into a cinder block or, you know, I'm to the point to where, you know, I'm a firm believer that a mechanical should be a one and done broadhead. Um, just my honest opinion is, yeah, they make replacement blades, yeah, they do all this and stuff, but I don't like taking chances when it comes to my broadheads. So even if I shoot a fixed blade, I will still hesitate to use that again on another deer because you honestly don't know. You know, I mean, you shot one. Well, your first deer you ever shot with you
Fixed
used
blade.
a fixed blade, 85 grain
It was 85 gram Montec.
Montec. The bow was, I think you were shooting just under 60 pounds, shooting a regular gold tip arrow, and you shot that deer at like 10 yards
Mm-hmm.
and went through both front shoulders, literally both of them.
It just didn't come out through the hide.
Yeah. And as the crow flies, the deer ran 250 yards and was dead. The route that he took was about 450, 500 yards. But he probably covered that within a minute before he laid down and died.
Mm-hmm.
But ended up hitting both lungs. I mean, the very, very front of them, but he hit them. But and then all the main arteries coming down into the chest cavity were obliterated, all of them. So I mean, it wasn't a bad shot by any means, but that broadhead was mangled after going through all that, and you know it's not one that I would have used. Now, would a mechanical have done the same thing? Probably not. But a mechanical, depending on which one you're using, if you're using one like this, your H2 blade, you know, you're going to have a hell of an opening going into that deer instead of a small little opening like that right there. And when you only got one hole, obviously you would much rather have a bigger hole because there is a lot of truth when it comes to putting blood on the ground and bleeding out and everything. But getting back on topic a little bit, you know, that's proof in the pudding for us that 95% of the time a broadhead is one and done, to where you don't risk it, and you know you do, you know, sharpen them out. I mean, I don't trust the manufacturers so much. I would much rather sharpen them myself, and I always do that to where I take the arrow and I'll set up rubber bands, and I let the weight of the arrow just come straight down, and if it won't cut all the rubber bands, it's not sharp enough, and I do that until the weight of the arrow, I don't push down on it, nothing. I let the weight of the arrow do it, so that way I know it's a clean cut. Because if you think about it, when you go to fillet a fish, you want to use long
Strokes.
a long stroke, and you know you're kind of doing that with any of the broadheads. And that's the way I look at it, is you get it really sharp and let it do an actual cutting motion, and instead of a forceful motion. But anywho's, so we're gonna be we'll be more into discussions like that
Hmm.
and everything. But we're kind of on the topic with broadheads and everything now, so we'll probably just roll right on into it, because this is going to be raw. This is, like I said, not really a podcast. It's just
Sit down bullshit.
yes, for the most part, a BS rant sort of deal, but also to possibly help a few other people out, put out a truer perspective on things per se. Uh, but like I said, we'll just continue on with talking broadheads and everything. Um, like I said, I'm a firm mechanical guy, and I am one, and he will vouch for it. When it comes to dinking around, when it comes to setups, arrows, broadheads, I'll even do it during deer season. Now that's a bad habit of doing, but I make sure. I'll shoot. You watched me one year. How many times did I? How long was I out shooting, making sure?
I don't know, but I know that you changed bows one year about 4 times.
Yeah.
And that drove me nuts. And I'm not even married to you. So I feel sorry for your wife.
I'm up there with. I would love to bow hunt everything.
Let's just say the amount of times that you go out and shoot and you walk back and forth from the target, you're leaving a rut in the ground.
Oh yeah, I do. I've started doing it at my place in where I live now, and I grew up just down the road here from Mason, and to this day you can walk over to my mom and dad's old house, and you can see a huge rut in front of the shed that they have out there now, of where I walked back from 97 until 2018, 2019. So 20 some years of walking back and forth, and it's out to about 35 yards. You can see
there's a divot,
the divot and the path and the wear in the ground all the times that I back and forth.
It was like the Oregon Trail ruts.
Yeah. But I love shooting. I'd shoot 50, I'd go and shoot a tournament here in Iowa and, 40, 50 targets. I'll come back home and I'll go back out. If I didn't shoot the score that I wanted, or do as well as I felt that I needed to or wanted to, I would go out, and until I could get to where I felt good enough, I would be out shooting, and it'd be another 150, 200 arrows. And a few of the local guys that are within 30 minutes of us know that, because I've gone to 99% of them know that it's nothing for me to put 200 shots through a bow. And there's some guys that won't put 200 shots through a bow in 3 years.
Yeah.
But I just have that passion for bow hunting.
I do more than 200 shots in a year.
I'm on the lower end this year just because I had my third kid.
Yeah.
So.
I probably put 200 shots in a year, but you do a hell of a lot more of that in a year, a lot more. For me, I just tinker around on my molds, so that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm more of a fisherman than I am a hunter, but I also like hunting. I like being out in the woods. For me, I could care less if I even put a deer down. As long as I see one, I'm good. I'm happy. It's just sitting out in the woods. It's just doing something. Does something to me to where.
Me, on the other hand, I hate letting deer walk by me. If I've got a tag, I'm that type of guy.
Last year was tough though. Last year was really tough on me because I barely even saw a deer. And even though you were the one that scouted out the spots, you knew where all the deer were at, I barely saw any deer,
It was
except
just-
for maybe one. Last year was a tough year. I think the drought had something to do with it.
Oh, the drought definitely had something to do
Yeah.
with it, and I think we're gonna fight it again this year.
Yeah, but
These-
not as bad.
I think it's gonna be just
No,
as bad.
last year
We'll get it. We'll get
Okay.
into that on another one because that's the whole nother thing. Like I said, I'm the guy between me, Mason, Jordan, and everybody else. I mean, I live, eat, sleep, deer hunting, and he'll even sit there and say my years go off of deer season.
hmm
I live it. I eat it. It's my niche.
Yeah,
You
the beginning year for him always starts
October 1st.
October 1st.
This year it gets to start sooner because it's youth season and I get
Yeah.
to take my oldest out. So my year kicks off here in just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So for what everybody says, but I mean, like I said, I eat, sleep, breathe deer hunting. I mean, I hunt turkeys. I've done other hunts, but my bread and butter is whitetails, and I once I get on them, he can vouch.
hmm
I know what the deer are gonna do. What trail, you give me 3 seasons in a spot, I'm gonna be able to tell you where the deer are bedding, what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and
Yeah.
be able to tell you, hey, around this time frame, because of the way the weather is, this is what they're gonna do. Yeah, there's a few, deer will always throw a curveball. They always do because, you're in their habitat, their bedroom. But I would say 9 times out of 10, I will win that battle because every time that you were with me, we saw deer.
We saw deer. Quotes. We saw deer.
Yes.
He saw deer, meaning we. Me, I only saw one deer.
Now, to prove my point,
Actually, no, I take
to
that
prove,
back. I
prove
saw
my
two.
point. Prove my point, though. Last year, I told you to go and sit in a stand.
Yeah.
I told you which stand to sit in. You sat in the other one, in that tree.
No, you told me to sit at the one that was facing the river.
Right, but I meant the tall one.
You said facing the river. The other one did not face the river. That one faced the road.
The river goes right next to the road. My bad on this, but he sat in the wrong stand. And what happened last year?
Well, yeah. The deer,
After I told you, and he believed me, but our buddy Jordan didn't at the time. We had pictures of this nice 130-inch 8-point that would come by on the regular every morning, and you're 150 yards off a highly traveled gravel road, and I mean, you had to deal with listening to the neighbors talk, doing this and doing that, and I'm like, dude, this deer's gonna show up. This is his bedroom.
hmm
And him and Jordan sat in it one night, didn't see nothing but squirrels, and I ended up I had deer all around me. And we're 500 yards apart across this CRP field, and I've got deer all around me.
It was pretty much a squirrel patch. That's what it was. It was just all squirrels. But I knew this deer was going to show up sooner or later.
Yep, and the following morning, I was like, somebody's got to be in that stand. He's gonna come
It wasn't
by.
in the morning. It was at night when he showed up.
No, it was that morning he showed up. It was a morning hunt because
No, it wasn't.
you told me it was a morning
No,
hunt.
it was the night that Jordan shot his deer out of the other stand. Remember?
Who saw him in that following morning though?
It wasn't me.
Somebody sat in that stand and told me that I swear it was you.
No, it wasn't. I never sat there in the morning.
Yes, you did because
No, I
you dropped
didn't.
your phone one time.
That was at night.
That was in the morning.
That was at night.
That was a morning hunt that when you
No,
dropped your
it
phone and we
wasn't.
left and you're like, oh, I don't have my phone. Oh, we got to go back.
No, Jordan and
'Cause
I had to walk back with flashlights.
Tomato. And this is what you're going to get every time.
I'll text Jordan.
Oh, we don't need to text Jordan because we know Jordan ain't going to answer right off the bat anyways. We'll bring Jordan on and do it. put that away.
No.
We're gonna do it when he's actually on, and we'll get the full story on the whole deal. But anyways, you proved my point though that he was gonna show up. He shows up, and everything would have been right if I would have explained myself a little bit further on the whole deal. Am I not correct?
Yeah, he showed up, but you
It-
told me to face the wrong way.
I didn't explain myself fully on which stand to have you sit in.
Yeah.
So I will take part of the blame on it. But proof in the point, I do know deer. And if you follow me on Instagram or Retopia or whatever, you'll see that a lot of the pictures we have now are of some really, really good bucks on one of the farms that we hunt over here. And we don't have the money for leases. It is literally walk up to the farmer, ask permission, and help them out any way that we can.
Mm-hmm.
The way old school, back in the late 80s, early 90s style, before money became an issue in our sport.
We see our money benefiting our family more than going out and benefiting our passion.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
But I'll spend the money. Like last year, I went out of Colorado. Antelope hunt cost me about, it was DIY, gas, food, our camping spot, everything for where me and a buddy of mine went. Cost, I spent roughly right around the $2,000 mark, and he's already doing his.
well, no, my son asked me if I was downstairs. Asked Ashley if I was downstairs with no clothes, and Ashley said, "I hope not. He's with Colin."
The things that we deal with. The things that we deal with. But that just shows the bond that we have between one another.
I don't know why he would ask if I was down here with no clothes on.
I don't know. Have you been down here with no clothes
No.
on? I mean, it would make me wonder.
I mean, I came down here to change for hunting.
Well, maybe that's where he's getting it. I don't know. But no, that I wouldn't be sitting here if you were that way. Trust me.
So, but anyway,
Back on topic. Yes, I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to deer, especially
Yeah.
with with this year and everything. This year should end up being a fairly good year as long as we do everything right, which I know that there's going to be flops where we're going to push the boundary on, oh, it's a questionable wind.
hmm
It's when we can get out and hunt. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and, oh, no, this weekend the wind's not right. No, if it's a decent weekend, I'm going to go sit in the deer stand because I mainly get weekends to hunt, and that's about it.
hmm
So,
As for me, if a spike walks by on the very last day on the very last hunt, he's done for it. I mean, I don't care.
no, see, I'm the opposite. I'll shoot the doe that's going to come up behind that spike or came out first and let the spike go. Because
Well, for me, I only got 2 weekends this year to hunt for muzzleloader. So guess what? Spike dead.
I mean, if he's the only one, by all means, yes, pull that trigger. By all means. But like I said, when it comes to me, when it comes with a gun, I'll let the spike walk. I honest to God will, and I have. I mean, how long? Up until this past season, it's been a while since I actually shot a buck with my bow. Now, knowing that the part of Iowa where we're at, we're in northeast Iowa, and there's quite a few deer in our areas, and I mean, it's not uncommon after shotgun season to drive, 15 minutes west of town here. Yep, no joke, 400 or 500 deer in one field, and that's just on one side of the road. You look on the other side, there's half that or not double that in that spot, and
hmm
everybody around's all big bucks, big bucks, big bucks, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves is you can't have a healthy herd if you're only targeting big bucks or you're only shooting 1 or 2 does. I mean,
No, I mean,
I shot 3 does last year.
yeah. But I mean, looking at that area that we do have permission on, that our buddy, he owns that ground. All the goofy stuff that we've seen on deer that we've shot, well, you shot pretty much.
Oh yeah, the
3 nut buck.
yeah, he had 3 nuts and he had growths on his lungs and everything, and throughout his rib cage. We found out that 2 does we shot during shotgun season in that same area were the same way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help that a lot of the farmers took fields and put them in the CRP program. So I mean, deer are having to travel quite a ways to get healthy amounts of food, and our buddy went to extreme lengths and gave the deer, put in a lot of different nut trees, fruit trees, and forage for the deer to try and help them out a little bit. So, to give them that little bit of extra to kind of spread them out a little bit. But we won't know for sure, but I mean, it's starting to show that the deer are looking healthier now.
Yeah, but there's a lot of areas around here that still their herds aren't as healthy as what they could be.
No, by all means, no.
The buck to doe ratio is
way out of whack in this area.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just in this area, I mean, there's quite a few. There's a lot of 140-inch deer shot, a lot of 150-inch deer shot. And a lot of these go unnoticed throughout. I mean, I know of 2 bucks in less than an hour from where we're at right now that went over the 180-inch mark that got shot, and one of them was actually on public ground.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that there was a lot of 150-inch deer shot with a bow and also shot with a shotgun during Iowa's first, second, and late season muzzleloaders gun seasons. There was quite a few big deer shot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there, but you can tell that the herd needs help, and our DNR aren't helping us the way that they should be right now.
No, I mean they're very protective of the deer because it brings them in revenue, but they need to start upping their doe tags, doing a little bit better on their surveys and population surveys of the area, a lot better than what they are. I mean, it doesn't. What confuses me is the county that we're in right now. We don't have the deer population in this county like Bremer County does, and they upped our doe tags. What was it? Did you say 200 or 100?
Yeah, they gave another 100.
Yeah, they gave another 100, and they dropped Bremer's. What was it?
50.
They dropped it 50.
It was 350 and it went to 300.
But when we started getting doe tags, it was 500 for how many years?
Oh yeah, and you could tell that it was at that time it was doing good.
Mm.
And then I think the DNR went into panic mode and like, oh no, and started dropping the tags, because I used to get 2 Bremer County antlerless tags on the regular, and now you're fighting to get one the minute tags go on sale.
Bremer County, that doe population in Bremer County was steady all those years when everybody was buying when it was at 500.
Yep.
And then when they dropped it, it just went out of whack in like 2 years.
Yeah.
And Buchanan County hasn't done nothing. Their population hasn't done nothing.
Now you go up around now here's the other thing. Now let's hit the far 2 northeast counties, Allen, McKee, and Clayton County. It's hard to go up there and find deer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we hunted hard a day and a half in
Yeah.
Alameda County for the special doe season up there, and it's an area that I've shotgun hunted in the past. Public ground that butts up to a lot of private ground that surrounds it on 3 out of the 4 sides,
Yeah.
and didn't see a single deer. I talked to a few of the hunters up there, and they were ones that were shotgun hunting and said that they didn't see the numbers either.
Yeah.
But yet
They won't drop their doe tags.
they keep issuing more. I mean, we're talking in the thousands,
Yeah.
and it's all the CWD
Yeah.
that we got to eliminate it. Well, I'm sorry, that's been around for hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
I do think to a degree that that is a scare tactic that people use and everything else. But I mean, when you're a hunter, a forager, whatever, you do take that chance
Mm-hmm.
of, risking it. And in all honesty, that's something that I would much rather risk. But I do know that when I cook my meat, I always go 170 or better, because then I know everything is sterile enough that I'm not gonna, bacteria and everything else isn't gonna be around it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, just an example that, we're talking about spots that are an hour away driving, and the deer numbers are way out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Bremer County's not even 10 minutes away from where we're at right now. And I'm in the northwest corner of Buchanan County. And Alameda, Clayton, what is that, an hour drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an hour drive up there. And their population up there is completely done for. But Buchanan County's hasn't changed in how many years, ever since they started issuing deer tags, and it has not changed one bit. And
I heard rumor though that CWD was now found in Buchanan County.
it is.
And it's just weird that now the doe tags went up. Supposedly it hasn't been found in Bremer County or anything. And
But
I don't know.
You gotta also look. You got in Bremer County, you got the Cedar River and the Wapsie River flowing through it, and Shell Rock.
Yeah.
And Buchanan County, you pretty much only have Wapsie River. That's it.
I think part of the Maquoketa.
Well, yeah, the Maquoketa, but that isn't really much.
No.
So, but those two trains,
But you have a lot of smaller, decent streams and everything that flow through.
yeah, and the habitat's different. The habitat is very different between the two counties of Bremer and Buchanan. So that makes a difference in the deer population. But, I mean, seriously, come on.
Oh, I know.
It's like, let's think about this for a second.
Yeah. RDNR thing, please.
Yeah, right. So,
I mean, they're good when you need them to be, but when you want them to be go above and
the
beyond.
deer biologists are the ones that make that decision. Overeducated idiots, let's just say.
Took the word right out of them.
Overeducated idiots.
And I think a lot of them aren't Iowa residents either, that graduated from Iowa State or some other, deal, and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm book smart. Whatever.
yeah. I mean, they also got to come to a realization that there is people out there, like the person I know, I'm not going to call out names or anything, but he was an old boss of mine. And he admitted that he would have a stack of doe tags about that thick that he would buy.
Roughly 2 inches.
Yeah, he would buy and would not fill any of them just so other people can't take those tags and fill them. He would do that on purpose.
Yeah, I got a tag to show you. I mean, now granted, mine's
Yours
Cool.
showed up.
yeah.
Mine hasn't shown up
Give
yet.
me an idea of what we're talking about. And this is folded up like 4 times,
Yeah.
and this is just one tag.
No, his aren't even folded up.
Yeah. So now you're talking. Oh,
Woo.
yeah, everything for one tag. But you're looking at something like this, and we're talking
Then,
stack.
yep. And so he would buy that many tags and not fill them on purpose, just so other people can't buy them and fill them themselves. So that's just taking opportunity out of other people's hands to fill the freezer for them, or even a young guy going out there during gun season, first season shotgun, that hasn't shot a deer yet.
Oh, don't get me started with I could go off on about first season shotgun. I mean, oof.
Or first season shotgun, second season shotgun, whatever.
Yeah,
That takes his opportunity away, or hers.
yeah, it does.
So, I mean, it's just not right.
No, and there's a lot of people in the state that do that.
But granted, he can go and get a.
See, but see, and now the other thing is that we could also really hammer away is I don't bash non-residents. They do bring a lot of money to the state.
Mhm.
But I think there needs to be a point in time to where, if you're a non-resident, let's say you live in,
What, Illinois?
no, not even Illinois. Let's say you live in Oklahoma, but you own, some of the best deer ground here in Iowa. You own like 300 acres, and you only got like 10 acres of fields and stuff throughout this 300 acres.
Mhm.
Perfect prime deer hunting habitat, Well, that guy can pretty much, from what I've known before, rules might have changed a little bit, but they're able to hunt it once every 4 years
I don't know.
for the most
It's
part.
8 o'clock now.
You and your bird clock, that's gonna drive me nuts. But anyways, once this bird stops chirping, now it might have changed a little bit. I'm not 100%, but like I said, don't quote me on a lot of this. And
I think,
in the comments, if it is the same, let me know either
I
way.
think it has changed. I think now they have to prove that they are a resident of Iowa. They have to show proof that they are a resident of Iowa.
But
Meaning-
I'm talking non-resident onlys to where that own property.
No, I don't think they can do that anymore.
I think they can only hunt once every 4 years, no matter
No,
what.
I don't think they can do that anymore. I honestly don't think they can.
Last I knew, they were able to get a tag. I know that you can only get a bow tag once every 4 years if you are a non-resident, whether you own property or not. Because
Well, yeah.
it is a draw system and a point system, and I know people. I've read online people, they'll get lucky and they'll get drawn with 1 or 2 points.
Yeah,
But I know a lot of people that will go 4 or 5 years, and it just depends on the area in the state that you're wanting to go. Everybody's Southeast Iowa. Woo. Yeah, I could tell you a lot of things about up here in Northeast Iowa. There's
now don't be bringing these non-residents up to Northeast Iowa. They can stay down there in Southeast Iowa.
I want anybody to be able to enjoy the state because I'm confident enough that I
There's
can go
nothing
on
here. We're overran.
See, I have an issue with that. I have an issue with that. You want to come and shoot a big deer in Iowa? By all means, come to Northeast Iowa.
There ain't any big deer up here.
The top 3 trophy counties in the state are right next to us.
Yeah, there ain't.
We're in the top 10.
Now there's a reason why nobody puts those deer in the record books.
Because they're all hillbilly farmers.
They don't want people coming up there.
Oh, please. You know how many non-residents own land in Northeast Iowa?
Oh yeah, I understand.
Dale
that.
Earnhardt Jr. owned land in Northeast Iowa.
That is perfectly fine, but still, now don't be.
No.
Yeah.
If you're a first-time person coming to Iowa, I'm telling you, the area you want to look at going to hunt, if you want a true shot at a quality deer and have it be a challenging hunt, you need to come to Northeast Iowa and hunt Winneshiek, Alameda, and Clayton counties.
Yeah.
I just listed off number 1, 2, and 3. Won't tell you which order it is for the top trophy counties when it comes to Boone and Crockett's. The last time I looked,
They're key deer. They're key deer up there. They're tiny. They're about that big. No bigger than a lab.
you're done.
They just went and picked them up from Florida Keys and just dropped them off right there.
The things I deal with, and that's where we That's where we have our differences. You can get a hold of me on Facebook, but hey, I'm a first-time person coming to Iowa. Where do I need to? I'm looking at being able to hunt public ground. Where can I go? I don't have a problem listing off Volga Lake, Yellow River, just like I am right now, and I'm not editing it out. There's some good
Bleep,
hunting
bleep.
up there.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Oh, I could. You want me to give them away in Bremer County?
No, shh.
I mean, anybody has access to this.
Well, yeah, they can have access to Onyx and just let them figure it out on themselves.
Right. But you're going to sit there and tell me that if some Joe Schmo, I believe in karma. I honestly do. I believe in karma, and she can be a bitch when you want to sit there and be like, oh, I'm not going to screw him, blah, blah, blah. Karma's going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Hey, I'm joking. I really don't care if they do show up.
Yeah.
But honestly.
He just went on a 5-minute rant about this. Now, let's be serious.
Yeah.
I'm watching the time on the thing. It was a 5-minute rant about, oh, no, flirty. No.
I am joking. I mean, if I ran into a person from out of state and they were on public ground, I'd talk to them.
Oh, would you tell them to go hang a stand within 50 yards down from your stand?
Well, granted, my stand wouldn't be on public ground anyway, so.
I'm saying, let's say you're hunting Volga Lake. You run into a guy that's having trouble finding deer, and he's got a little kid with him. You're going to sit there and tell me you're not going to point him in your direction where you've been seeing deer? See, the thing of it is, when I go on public ground,
I'd tell him.
I know where the deer, when I go to do it on public ground, I'm going to know everything there is to know. Kind of like the hunting public guys. But I won't go to their extent for the most part. And I mean, they do some good things. They do, I would say they're about 60-40. 60% good, 40% bad. But if that's the type of hunting you're into, that's where you need to go and watch and learn from, because they've got that shit down to a T. They honestly do. Now, if you're somebody like me that wants to just experience it and know that there's big deer in the area,
Key deer.
I deal with this all the time, and not really care per se, and have a good fulfilling hunt. I'm your guy, because I'm in general. Okay. Now, I went. How many years did I go not filling a buck tag, chasing big buck after big buck after big buck after big buck?
Oh hell, I don't know. It was years.
Exactly. How many encounters would I have with 150-inch plus deer?
A lot.
I know, and it's just. I'm a firm believer in karma. I'm a firm believer in the big man upstairs, not just in this house, but I mean, you know what I mean. I'm a big firm believer in God and Jesus and everything else. Everything happens for a reason, and I had a lot of learning experiences, and I firmly believe that when it's meant to be, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I had encounters last year with some extremely large deer, and I have yet to connect on one. I connected on one the previous year, and I made a bad shot. And after I made that bad shot, I think I went out once or twice just to make sure that that deer was a-okay. And I even had a doe tag, and I actually didn't even attempt to fill it because I had a bad encounter. One of the largest deer that I had an opportunity at 10 yards, I got tunnel vision, and I was shooting a fixed blade broadhead, and I only got 2 inches of penetration, and arrow didn't hit where I wanted it to, hit far forward. Ended up hitting nothing major, and the deer ended up living. And I actually have pictures of that deer this year, and the only reason I know is there's a tuft of hair missing on him, and it's in the same area where I hit that one 2 years ago.
But
So,
anyway, so granted, if there was a person there with a kid, whatever.
what if he didn't have a kid?
Okay, if he didn't have a kid, I would still direct him into that area.
See, I'd go as far as telling him, hey, my stand's here. This is where the deer are coming from. The wind's right. Go in this area.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just giving you shit.
He's good at doing that, and I'm good. That was quick hands on that one.
I'm just giving you shit. But yeah, anyway, still, they did pick up a bunch of key deer and what? And say, here you go.
Yeah.
Just like how people say the DNR went and dropped off mountain lions into Iowa with Black Hawk helicopters.
I don't think they did it with Black Hawk helicopters. I think they did it.
Well, there was a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors saying they dropped them off with Black Hawk helicopters. Dumb.
Nah.
They traveled.
No, and the only reason I say this is
No, I know damn well they traveled. I know damn well they traveled. They did not drop. Like I said,
no, they did not drop them off in Black Hawk helicopters. No. In southern Iowa, back in the mid-90s, and I will never forget this story, because it was me and my dad and a couple of his buddies. We always made a trip down there during early muzzleloader season, so it's the middle of October, and these guys had years and years and years experience in the woods. They know what a mountain lion is. They know what a bobcat is. They know their stuff, okay?
Wow.
And the one guy saw a mountain lion while walking out from his deer stand to our meeting spot. Had an encounter with a mountain lion in southern Iowa in the mid-90s. And when we talked to the DNR officer about it, he played hush-hush real quick on it, on the whole ordeal, and was like, no, you didn't see a mountain lion. We're like, well, yeah, you did. And the DNR doesn't know you didn't see a mountain lion. Like, a cover-up deal. So what are you going to expect? I do think that now, though, a lot of them have migrated, because there are quite a few in South Dakota and in Nebraska. Yeah. I also am a firm believer that a lot of things have been changing. And
did you hear the new rumor now?
That's not a rumor. There are elk around Iowa City.
Well, yeah, I know. There's pictures of them. But there's a rumor. That wasn't what I was saying.
Oh, okay, please.
Now, there's a rumor saying that the DNR dropped off wolves in Iowa. That's a crock of shit.
No, I won't believe that one bit, because I know
there's people out there that mistake a husky for a wolf.
There's a lot of stupid people in the world.
And I have 2 of them in this house.
Yeah. But I will say wolves are making their comeback into the state.
Wolves are making their comeback.
I mean, there was one shot 10 miles south of where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wolves on a coyote drive.
Yeah, wolves are making their way back. Black bears are making their way back.
Oh, most definitely black bears. I've had encounters with black bears up in
Mountain lions are
Alameda
making
County.
their way back. Elk are making their way back.
I firmly believe you're going to see a draw elk season in the state of Iowa, but in our lifetime, you or me
Yep.
are going to be able to go into a draw or be able to obtain either an elk tag or a black bear tag in the state of Iowa
Yeah.
for the amount of elk that are being
I'll
spotted.
take a black bear over an elk any day. Predators. I like my predators.
This guy.
I like my predators. Just like fish. I like my predator fish. Walleye, the toothy ones, you know,
Who doesn't like walleyes?
and northern pike, the toothy ones. I like my toothy fish. Just like my animals. Toothy animals. Black bears.
So yeah, so we're nearing the end of this first little segment, and we'll continue on. These are gonna drop about once a week. If you like them, you know what to do. Hit all the little fancy stuff on the screen there. If you
Bell,
don't,
subscribe,
yeah, all that
and
fancy
like,
stuff.
and comment. Commenting helps out a lot too.
Oh yeah, just comment. Comment on what you would want to see us talk about. And then, like I said, at some point it's gonna be me, Mason, and Jordan. A couple of times it's gonna just be me and Jordan. There might even be a few times where it's just me, and I'm gonna sit there rant and ramble on about things. And I can honestly say anything that I'm gonna say is gonna come from my personal experiences, for what I know. Like I said, don't quote me on a lot of things. If you know different, comment. Let me know. I'll make the comments.
Yep.
You don't like it, you don't have to like it. You can just scroll on to the next video, do whatever you want to do, Or if you're one of them trolls that want to sit there and comment, oh, you don't know jack shit, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, it still helps us out.
Yeah. I mean, if you're one of them people, by all means, yep, do your little, oh, you don't know jack shit, blah, 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 blah.
It still helps us out.
Whatever.
It still helps out with the algorithm.
I'm 40 years old. I've been doing this since I was 8 years old, and I've been doing this hardcore to where I started doing a lot of the research and on my own because it interested me so well, and because I've had a couple of bad experiences at a young age while hunting and everything. And you can go, oh, you can't hunt. But yeah, I was legally, me and my dad went through the head office in Des Moines. Yeah, I was legally able to hunt during the adult season back in the mid 90s with my dad. Ended up shooting first time out. I shot my first deer. I kind of do know a thing or two. I've been doing this over 30 years. Experienced gun and bow. Big game when it comes to out west hunting. I'll admit I don't know a lot. I've done it very little. When it comes to here in Iowa, though, and it comes to whitetails, no, I guess I'm not going to claim I know as much as James Kroll, Lee and Tiffany, Chris Brackett, any of them. Okay.
Stand pots.
Yeah, those guys built their whole deal on that. I am not there. I would like to be there at some point, but I'm not there.
And I'm no Bill Dance either. Or Jimmy Houston.
I mean, you'll never beat Bill Dance.
No, nobody can ever beat Bill Dance.
No, but
he's a legend.
He is. I'm not looking to be a legend. I'm just wanting to go off of putting my experiences, my truths that I know out there, and even more so help the average Joe out than what some of these people actually are. And like I said, I'm going to get into more on the price, the cost of bow hunting, hunting in general, fishing with, inflation's going through the fucking roof. We're going to go through all of that and why I do what I do, choose what I choose. He does the same thing on his page, and he's going to be helping me out with this.
Yep. And just so you know, I don't know hunting like this guy does. I just do it for the fun of it. And I did pick up some things from this guy that I do know. I am a lot better than what I was back in high school. In high school, I didn't know shit. That's just because I didn't grow up in the hunting and fishing family.
No.
And the fishing was more so my grandpa. And hunting, they're just like, go out, you little annoying little boy. Go out with your gun, do your thing. And that was pretty much it.
That was where I was told, you can't do this you want to be able to go out and do this. This is the way you need to do it. I mean, it was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
I had to be able to do certain things to be able to prove to my dad and everybody that I could do it.
Yeah.
And I started at a young age.
And
I've just been addicted ever since. I shot my first deer with a muzzleloader when I was 8 years old. Shot my first deer with a bow. I was 10 years old. I started bow hunting at the age of 9. I mean,
yeah, for me, I was just more of addicted to nature. I just wanted to be outside, be out in the woods, be out near the riverbank, being a little river rat.
Yeah, see, I'm a tree rat then. I like being in a tree. I mean, it's my escape. Talking about it, leaving, eat, sleep, breathe, deer hunting. That's my escape.
For me, there's a reason why I go. When he tells me go to this tree, you see that tree over there? What tree? I see a lot of trees. That tree over there, that box elder, whatever.
Oh, and we'll definitely get some of that on video where it's me. That tree right there. The one I'm physically pointing at, even though it's 200 yards away. Oh, the ash, the oak, whatever. The one that's doing this goofy ass thing. Oh, the ash. Yeah, fine, whatever.
That's me.
That's it.
I can identify a lot of stuff at a distance. Know their names. Know how to identify
But
them.
what he doesn't realize is by him knowing all that stuff has helped me out to learn even more when it comes to deer. And
Food plots.
And we'll get into different types of food plots too, because I think a lot of people don't realize you don't have to do the whole forage. Oh, I'm going to do corn, soybeans, turnips, yada yada yada. We're getting into a whole different style of food plots that have actually been done with our good buddy, and believe it or not, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And I think
Clover's king. Clover is king.
But this isn't even produced yet, and wait until all of his stuff starts producing.
Mm.
And hint,
Trees.
hint,
The trees.
the trees
Yep, the trees. Different types of trees.
will draw in a lot more deer than what you would think.
And it's called multi-species, not monoculture, multiculture.
Yep.
That's what I told them. The more different variety of trees you have, the better off you are.
Yep, and we'll get into that stuff too.
Yeah.
So, like I said, these are going to drop about once a week. So, like I said, like, subscribe, follow, do the whole deal, whatever. I'm on Facebook. Just look me up, Colin Connor. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I got YouTube. Now I didn't realize that I actually did, but you'll see a lot of the videos are going to be doing what we're doing right now. There might be a few where they're hunts. I mean, he's going to try and film a couple. It happens, great. It doesn't, so be it.
Yeah.
A lot of the shorts are going to be, what I do out in the woods. I've got one that's on here right now that's sitting at 4.9K, and it's a little 20-second clip, and it's one that I was in the ground blind with my boy, and we were just, sitting there, and I just decided to pull my phone out and record this button buck that was out in front of us, just feeding away like nothing to care about, and we ended up seeing quite a few deer, ended up shooting a doe, filling a doe tag. So yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of the shorts are going to end up being, or shooting or something. Once I see that this might actually grow into something, and you want to see what I do when it comes to testing broadheads, what I look for, what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sit here and make I'm not going to extend the deal. I'm going to get right down to the nitty gritty of the things, because I know a lot of guys that are in my shoes don't want to sit there and go through, oh, well, this broadhead. Nah, we're going to cut right down to the bare bones right away on a lot of the stuff. But when it's videos like this, it's just going to be a lot of rambling, a lot of information thrown out. Catch what you want. You know, you got questions, throw them out there. But other than that, we're just your regular
And also,
average guys.
just to point out for the broadhead testing, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm shooting through this type of steel, or this, I'm shooting through a steel thing."
I don't give a shit about that.
And the thing is, what you don't know is what they will not tell you is what type of steel. Is it stainless steel? Is it cold rolled steel? What's the thickness of the steel?
Is it hot rolled 20 gauge, 22 gauge steel? Is it cold rolled 22 gauge steel? You know, we're your blue collar workers. I've worked with all sorts of steel. I know that there's different hardness.
I'm a punch and laser guy.
I don't deal too much. I don't deal too much with steel now. I deal with elevators. Woo-hoo. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't even know jack about elevators. I just know you press a button, you go up. Whoop, push a button, you go down. Okay, wait. You know, and I know that there's not a lot of weight to an elevator, but it'll hold quite a bit.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah,
But that's besides the point.
Yeah, for me, I deal with all different types of material, from aluminum to copper to brass to steel.
Yeah.
So, and at my job. So, when I sit there and look at a broadhead test video, I'm like, they didn't even tell you crap of what in the hell they're using. You know, what material they're shooting at. Well, I'm shooting at a 50-gallon steel barrel. Woohoo. Okay. Well, that's not really going to tell you shit, because that curvature of that steel is going to make a difference.
How long did it sit outside? That'll all play a part in it. Was it beaten up and just pounded back out and found the one good side? Because it all weakens at some point in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't care about that, and we'll get into other things, and we'll show what we look for, and
what he looks for, and he just tells me what to shoot.
believe it or not, for one of the mechanicals, this Rage is not a bad broadhead, and I will dig into that one because I have learned a few things, and you want to get me going, we'll talk about.
That's an old Rage, a very old Rage.
Yep. I mean, it still has the collar. Oh, the collar's There's a reason Rage is still around. Ouch, these are still sharp. There's a reason why these are still around. Good old Magnus.
And there's a reason why some people still use regular old arrowheads. They nap them themselves.
Yeah, we'll dig all into that, and it'll be one of the videos here coming up too. So, but like I said, that's kind of what we're gonna do. You know, I'm more the hunting. He's gonna be more fishing, foraging, all that sort of things. You know, he feeds off me, I feed off him. And when it comes to Jordan, you know, we all feed off one another. And I mean, in all honesty, we're kind of like the Three Stooges when the three of us are together. I mean, you get those two going, and it's just sit back. Okay, yeah, go. Do you think,
the Elmer
guys?
Fuds? You're the Elmer Fuds.
Oh no! According to Jordan, you and I are the Elmer Fuds, and that'll be another story for one too about what happened. And
yeah, we're not gonna go into that.
I mean, we only shot 6 times and killed 2 turkeys.
Oh well, that is true. That's
Go figure that one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, but we've learned our lessons, and I mean that was a few years ago, and the main thing is we don't take a lot of what we do all that serious. Yeah. It's fun, it's relaxing, it's to ease the stress of everyday life, especially now with everything that's going on in the world. You got to be able to go out and relieve your stress, do something, so that way you don't carry it back home and ruin your home life. It's not worth it. And do whatever it is you need to do. Go play catch, go something, sports, hunting, fishing, camping. I mean, just get outside and go do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. And like I said, part of the rambling, we're gonna cover it all on here, and just try and help people out. I mean, it might be, entertaining. It might not be. You might find it useful. You might not. Like I said, this is just something for us to do. We enjoy doing it, and in my honest opinion, I could care if I gain a bunch of subscribers and everything, but I know what I do isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
So
It'll kick off. It's very, very slow.
I hope so. I mean, if I reach 500 subscribers in a certain time frame, I'll do something special. I'll do something I'll just put it out there right now. When I hit 500 subscribers, I'll do something for, I'll figure something out. Maybe it'll be getting some fishing lures from this guy.
I got a pop
He's
call over there.
got a whole plethora. I mean, he's got a whole plethora. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
when I get 1,000 subscribers, we'll do something.
And I got a turkey pot calls that I still need to get out.
Yeah. I mean, every 500 we'll do something different, and same thing for his. When he hits 500, we'll do something. 1,000, 1,500, and just boom, and we'll always amp it up every 500. So if you want to see about doing some of that stuff, I mean, go for it. All it's going to take is for you to, you don't even have to watch the whole thing. You see what part of it what you like, and I'm going to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, the little notification deal, and the more you interact with us, the more that you'll be likely to, maybe get something from him, or maybe I'll do something, maybe I'll end up reaching out to you and saying, hey, I know
I got a package of broadheads.
Get you a pack of broadheads, or fletch you up arrows a certain way that you want them, because I do that just as well as anybody in the industry.
Yeah. I make our own turkey calls too. I just don't do mouth calls.
Yeah.
I'm not going through that hassle.
Yeah.
No.
And I can use them, but that's a whole nother subject. But like I said, we'll do something. We'd like to. If it happens, it happens. Awesome. If it doesn't, that's great too. We're just going to have fun doing this stuff. So we'll see you guys on the next one.